Am I the asshole for taking my parents' assignment too literally and being too honest? My parents called for a family meeting last Sunday and said they were realizing that we didn't have the happy little tight-knit family they had expected to have. They expressed that we had all been closer when we were little kids. For context, it's me, my brother James, and my other brother Easton. But now it felt like we never spent time as brothers. Especially me and James. And that sharing a room, they would have expected more from us. My parents said they wanted us to all be totally open and honest about how we felt and to express if we had any issues with the family to get out of the way. They said they weren't going to take a turn until after the three of us spoke first, and we couldn't leave until we opened up and said everything. I told them I felt like they had somewhat unrealistic goals. That they ignored some stuff that had been mentioned to them in the past that would have made the lack of closeness less of a surprise. And that it was weird for them to pretend they had no idea of anything going on. I admitted that I hate sharing a room with James. That personality-wise, he and I clash. And that he relies too much on being the younger brother and getting his own way. Which annoys me. I said I had told them this before. James will set up these sleepover nights for him and me on the floor, and he'll expect me to play football outside with him until it's close to midnight and then go in and watch movies that bore me to tears and sleep in our sleeping bags instead of our beds. I said he started insisting we do things he enjoys when we were like 8 and 10, and ever since that point hanging out with him has not been fun for me. It has not made me feel closer to him. I admitted that I would rather share with Easton. I also said I had brought this stuff to my parents' attention before. And even complained when he was messing up my side of the room and left me to clean up. Which my parents expected me to do instead of him. I also mentioned that I hate hanging out with his friends who I have nothing in common with. I told my parents they overlooked James being mean to Easton. That it might be due to jealousy and resentment that I'm closer to Easton, or it might be due to Easton being the youngest, but they would never let me say to James what James can say to Easton. I also said they treat us like we're little kids. They will tell us to go hang with much younger kids and do their activities at family houses, and they'll tell us no video games until we play outside. And that even after 16 years of knowing me, they still can't accept that I don't like sports, and it's not my idea of fun to kick a ball or run around, and it never has been. James was upset about the stuff I said about him, especially about not wanting to hang out with him and his friends. My parents were furious with me and said I had no right to say all that. I said I was doing what they asked, and they said that wasn't what they asked for. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. And your parents were fools to think a conversation like that was ever going to go well. I guess just like pretending you were one big, happy family. You were supposed to lie to preserve the illusion. They are completely wrong for being upset with you. Truth hurts sometimes. My parents said they wanted us to all be totally open and honest about how we felt and to express if we had any issues with the family to get out of the way. My parents were furious with me and said I had no right to say all that. I said I was doing what they asked, and they said that wasn't what they asked for. That's exactly what they asked for. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. They asked, you answered. You might suggest to them that if they'd like to explore this further, family counseling with a neutral therapist might be more productive than asking for honesty and then yelling about it. I think you're really going to like college. Not the asshole. Your parents didn't think this through. You did, though. If you had a therapist in the room, they would have applauded you for getting to the heart of the matter, as long as you weren't gratuitously cruel to your mid-bro in how you said it, such as by name calling, contemptuous looks, etc. You deserved an A here. You understood the assignment perfectly and were open and honest. Not the asshole. I don't know what they were expecting when they wanted you all to be honest. You were honest and pointed out the things which were causing discord in your life. If they didn't like the answer, they shouldn't have asked. Parents, be honest. Parents, no, not like that. Sorry, your parents suck, dude. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Your parents are naive. No shit, the family dynamic changes when little kids become teenagers. The ones who need to grow up and stop being so childish are them, not you. Hey, your parents asked, and you answered, and you told the truth. As you see it, not whatever happy bullshit they were wanting and expecting to hear. WTF, and not the asshole. Not the asshole. You will probably get close again when you're older. But you three are still becoming yourselves. And it's normal to start liking different things. I'm surprised your parents don't know relationships can't be forced. Part of the problem is that the teenage years are divided into much smaller life stages. 14 and 16 are way different developmentally. 14 is barely out of the EU girl cooties stage, and at 16 you're thinking about and planning post-high school. That you and your brother are very different people, and your parents seeming to favor your brother over you isn't helping. You are too old to have your parents trying to force friendships even if they are with your siblings. It sounds like the only people who had a problem with your sibling relationships were your parents. What your parents are doing should have been done a decade ago. Not the asshole. Sounds like they wanted a hallmark moment and they received a list of things that need improvement. Instead, truth can get pretty harsh. Not the asshole. They didn't want you to open up. They wanted you to admit that you were just pretending not to be close. Sounds you have a golden child in your midst. That sucks. Does James ever do things with you that you want to do? Not the asshole. Sounds like your parents said to be honest, so they come out looking good for being so open. But still actually expected you to keep the peace so they can continue living in fantasy land. It's totally on them, and you did exactly what they asked. They can be mad, but you have done nothing wrong except not play along with their fantasy. Not the asshole. Anyone who thinks a truthful answer to the question, "What's wrong with our family?" is going to be pleasant to hear is a fool. Not the asshole. Your parents are. They're not dealing with reality. I can see where your brother gets it from. They make up in their head how things are going to go. And then get upset when it doesn't work out that way. They literally ask you to be open and honest about your feelings. And then tell you that you have no right to say it. That's ridiculous. They're not trying to solve the problem. It's almost as if they're looking for someone else to blame. Not the asshole, though I do wonder what it was that they wanted you to say. Not the asshole. Now you know who the favorite is. Maybe it's my own family dynamic coloring my view. But the vibe I'm getting is that James is the favored son and mom and dad don't actually give a crap about the other kids' feelings. They are just trying to figure out why the others don't love their precious baby as much as they do. For example, OP mentioned that they refuse to accept that he doesn't like sports while James is content to play football outside until all hours. They let James get away with treating the youngest badly while OP couldn't do the same. I smell a possible golden child here. Not the asshole. And I absolutely despise people like your parents. The whole we want the truth. No, not that truth. We want truth. Can't wait for in 2 years' time to see a post, "Why did my son leave?" and say he never wants to talk to me again. Jokes aside, your parents got exactly what they asked for. Heck, if you cut out the parts asking if you're tall, I'd have thought this was a post on malicious compliance or SMTHN. Not the asshole. Of course they're pissed. You insulted their favorite from the sound of it.